Okay, another thing about this Gog coming from the north BS that everyone's saying it's got to be Russia. And by the way, Russia isn't even in the King James Version. There's no Rosh and Tobolsk and whatever they're saying. None of that's in the King James Version. So I don't know where they come up with that. And they were saying something about the Schofield Bible, which I like the Schofield Bible, but I don't know where they come up with that Rosh. But it ain't Russia. You know why? Because in one of those videos I shared on my post, he explains what the North means. And what it means is he gave all the Bible verses. Basically, every single war ever happened against Israel has come from the North. And he explained why. And it's because they had to go around to wherever they were, they had to go around, go up to the north and come in from the north. That was the only way to get to Israel. That was the only way to get to Canaan, was from the north. So wherever they were coming from, they always had to come into the promised land from the north. Do you see what I'm saying? He quoted all the Bible verses of all the wars. Just look up a Google search of the word from the north and see how many times. Hang on, Bobs. See how many times it is said. Because they always come from the north. Because they can't get to it any other direction but from the north. They are always having to go around, and that probably because what, isn't it covered by a sea and a lake and a whatever? Sorry, I'm not good on geography, but I know that in the Bible it says something like the Nile, as far as the Nile to the River Euphrates, or those famous biblical water masses. So yeah, the original Canaan was kind of around a bunch of water, and whenever these people were trying to fight them, they had to go around. And they all came from the north. That's all that means. That's all that means. Okay, that's all that means. It doesn't mean, it's got to be far, far north from Russia. Plus, that Israel is actually the navel of the world. So, whatever they said about that, like, you want to get to the navel of the world, you kind of have to go around and come in, get them from the north. And I don't know where they come up with this Rosh and Tobolsk and all the whatever else words that aren't in my Bible. They're not in my King James Bible. All they have is Togarma, and they don't even have put in my Bible. You go look it up in King James. None of those names are in the King James. I'll show you right now. But then I'd have to find Ezekiel real quick. Well, here it is. All right, so the beginning of Ezekiel. Hang on, Bob. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. That's Turkey. And prophesy against him. Turkey is hating Israel still. They haven't acquiesced like all the other Eastern countries, and the other one hasn't acquiesced either. Okay? Then verse 4. And I will turn you back, the chief prince. The Jews are 12 tribes. They're like, he told Sarah, 12 kings kings. Ishmael got just one nation. Sarah's called the mother of all nations. All nations. 12 kings. Ishmael only got 12 princes. And they are one nation. Okay. Hang on, baby. And then so, look, the chief prince of Turkey, Gog. Okay, so that's verse 3. No Rosh. And I think that's in the beginning of most versions. So Gog. And I know Islam is from where? Saudi Arabia. They're not from Turkey, but still, the prince of Gog. Okay, 4. And I will turn you back and put hooks in your jaws. That's what's happening. God is putting hooks in the jaws of Islam, and they're spreading and they're coming at every direction at everybody, the whole world. He says, I'm going to put hooks in your jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thine army. And look at where Iraq's doing right now with their army, going toward Iran. Okay, God has put hooks in their jaws, and he's bringing all thine army, horses and horsemen, all their Toyotas, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company. Yeah, they're sending all the Islamists from the Iraq and from all those Muslim countries. They're coming. They're all coming to help aid Iran. Okay, so he says, all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, because they're all sorts. There's the Houthis, there's Hamas, there's Hezbollah, there's ISIS, there's all that. All sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Yeah, because they're all violent. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah, of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. After many days thou shalt be visited in the latter years. Okay? After many days, so they're already surrounded. After many days thou shalt be visited. Okay? This is where he's backtracking. But do you see anywhere where my King James says the far north? No. And whatever somebody's mucked up in the other versions, it's okay. It's okay, because that video I shared, he was using Rosh and all that, far north. But he explained the far north. It doesn't mean it's Russia. It just means, Iran right now is north of Israel. Thou shalt ascend and come like a storm, and they are coming like a storm. Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy bands, all those Islamic terror groups. Okay, and many people with thee. Thus saith the Lord God, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind. God is putting it in their mind, just like he put that lying spirit in that prophet. But it doesn't say God put it in it. In this verse. But in the other verse, God flat out says, I will put a lying spirit in him. Okay, that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought, and thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages, not unwalled countries. I've already done a video on this. I will go to them that are at rest. Hang on, baby. Yeah, they're at rest. I know they're fighting right now and getting bombed, but they're at rest because they have their own land. Okay, that dwells safely. Yeah, because they have that shield. And they have weapons to fight off all the bombings. Yeah, safety. All of them dwelling without walls, plural, for villages, and having neither bars nor gates on their walls and their villages. Okay, they had bars and gates to open up the gates and bars of the village, not the country. It doesn't say country, it says village. It's a city. You look it up. Go watch my video. I told you all the cities that used to be walled in over there in the promised land. Every city over there in the promised land was walled in except for a pasture. Okay, to take a spoil and to take a prey, to turn thine hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle and goods. They've come out of the world into Israel, that dwell in the midst of the land. Yeah, they are. In the midst of Canaan. They don't have all their land, but they're dwelling in the midst of Canaan. That's a key word right there. They that dwell in the midst of the land. I mean, if they had all their land like original in the Bible that God gave them right now, it could still mean they're dwelling within the midst of their promised land. But it would have said it would have instead said they're dwelling in the land. They're dwelling in the promised land. They're dwelling in their land. Why does it say here they're dwelling in the midst of their land that they don't have anymore? They just have a little sliver the size of New Jersey right now. In the midst of the promised land that everybody's occupying. So there's another good nugget there. They're not dwelling safely in their land because their land is occupied, but they are dwelling safety in the midst of their promised land. Yeah. Anyway, there is no Rosh, no put, no whatever these other words are. And if you go find the video, it's the latest one, not the rabbi guy. I don't know his name or remember, but it's after that guy. It's a video on Gog and Magog. It's like an AI type video. He's on Ezekiel 38. And he's explaining what the far north means. It's not Russia. The far north is where they have to come from. And anyway, that's kind of irrelevant anyway, because Gog of Magog is basically, to me, Islam, the religion Islam, and it is Muslims, all their princes of Ishmael, the rejected. And he's pissed. He ain't going to let go. And God knows he won't let go. God knows he won't let go. God knows he's got to deal with him right now. And this Thessalonians, where it's like, and they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction. Who's to say? Listen, I've been saying this all along. You can't have destruction because then no one's going to be able to take the mark of the beast if everything's destroyed. Just because he says and then sudden destruction does not mean that could be the abomination of desolation of abomination after 3.5 years. That could mean, that doesn't have to mean it's the destruction is going to be sudden, but it doesn't mean it's suddenly going to happen after peace and safety. I don't think that's what it's saying. It's not saying, oh, suddenly after they say peace and safety, there's going to be destruction. No, it says after they say peace and safety, and then it could be 3.5 years. Then it says sudden destruction. Sudden destruction happens. Okay, well, that's my 2 cents worth. And I just am thinking that this war is not a light thing. And it's really big because Iran is really big. So is Iraq. Iraq is really big too. And all their princes with them and they're all ascending down over there. And somebody, like I've been saying, somebody's going to have a slip up, and they're going to go, hey, wait, whoops, I found this big bomb here. Let's shoot it off. How about that? And then they're talking about some kind of these missiles that they're shooting, and then they shoot, and then they spread out, and they're real, I don't know what a dirty bomb is, but I guess they're kind of like real nasty, terrible bombs where their little protection shield can't get all of the little break-offs, and that's wicked. And hang on, babe, I'm gonna get you. And something like that is gonna happen. And then, because those shields, I think you got to replenish them. I think I think it costs money with each one they deflect. It costs a lot of money. Then they got to refill the whatever it takes to deflect them. And they got to keep refurbishing whatever they got to refurbish to make that dome work, you know? So what if they run out of protection stuff? I don't know. I'm not saying there's any ideas, but something's going to happen that Israel's not going to be able to deflect. And it's going to have to be obvious to even a lay person to understand. I mean, it might, like the Bible says, like a cloud, it's probably going to look like it's never, the sky up in Israel is probably going to look unlike it has ever looked before. It's going to look like fireworks up in the sky, and all the people in Israel are going to understand that there is no way that their little shield was able to save them from all of that. God even said it's like a cloud. It's going to be huge. It's going to be way too huge for any, and even around the world when they finally see it on television, because it'll make major news, they're going to explain that this was a miracle, to where even people all around the world that don't know nothing about Israel, God is going to make it to where everybody's going to understand that it was a miracle. Okay? So, yeah. All right. Well, this is exciting, and it just keeps getting better by the day. And yeah, whenever Trump talks like this, it doesn't scare me. It makes me think, okay, what's the next big thing he's got up his sleeve? What is he thinking here? What is he doing? And all that tells me is that he's about to do something serious, because he doesn't stop for no reason. He doesn't stop for no reason like this in the middle of this. He's not going to spend billions a day. Now he just sent troops over. He's not going to do all this just for, oh, okay, let's make a deal. No, he's been saying for years and years and years and years and years and years and years, since the 60s, 70s, and 80s, since he was a kid. He's been saying, get rid of Iran. Okay? You think he's going to all of a sudden go dumb and say, oops, I'm retarded all of a sudden, and I don't agree with myself anymore. I should have never said that. No, he's going to get rid of Iran, the terror. So he hasn't changed his mind. He's not going to, change his mind. He's just doing the art of the deal. And it also keeps these democrats out of his business. Oh, and it also, maybe it's good for the economy or the stock market. Maybe it's also good to, keep the democrats at bay until he gets his ducks in a row. Maybe he's waiting for something over there to happen. Maybe he's stalling. Who cares? I don't care. All I know and care about is that Trump is trustworthy to know what he's doing, because God put him in there. And God is the one doing all this anyway. So have a little faith in God. And this is way too serious. All the other wars were about freedom. Yeah, freedom, freedom. No, this is more than just freedom. This is freedom and it's warring against Satan. And, because yeah, worldwide, we get rid of it over there, then it's worldwide. What is gonna crop up? Then you got all these left radicals that are insane, rabid, foaming at the mouth. They want China and Russia to be our buddies. And you guys, it's too far gone. It's too far gone. And I think this Gog spirit is Islam. Then when God gets rid of all that in Ezekiel 38, you're going to have nothing but these wicked left who are going to, they're going to say, okay, who cares about Islam anymore? I don't care. Fine. That was never the issue anyway. We were just making it the issue to cause trouble any way we can. So now they're going to be like, okay, forget about Islam. They're all gone. All right, fine. What's next? Yeah, we want Russia, China, and North Korea. And then they're going to start bitching about that. Well, guess what that is? That's the one world government. That's all lined up. So as soon as God gets rid of Ishmael, Islam, the left-wingers are going to be going for the one world government. That's in the trib. Hello. We ain't going to be around for that. So as soon as Ezekiel 38 gets rid of Islam, hopefully, and we all see it, and then we get raptured, and then the tribulation happens with the one world government, with Russia and Korea and China and America and whoever wants to get on board, all these liberal left extremists. They don't care about Islam, the freedom of religion. They don't care. They don't care anymore. And Russia and China and North Korea, they could give a flying flip about Islam when it comes to a one world government. If they aren't already squashed by Ezekiel 38, Russia, China, and North Korea is going to squash them, because I don't think North Korea or any of them, I know Russia is Islamic and kind of, they're kind of more Catholic, aren't they? Orthodox. And then what is the other one? Whatever. Okay, so yeah, I'm rambling. But yeah, I think Gog and Magog is Islam, and I think it's going bye-bye. It won't even be here in the trib. It won't be an issue, because what's an issue in the trib is the Catholic Church, the Vatican, the evil, you're of your father, the devil, Pharisees. That's the Vatican and the Pope. And there's no Islam mentioned anywhere in tribulation talk in the Bible. It's gone. It's nowhere. Okay, bye.